Hey everyone, welcome to the Crypto Mobcast. This is brand new. Myself, Ash, aka Crypto Mobster, and Andy Optelic over there. We are going to be doing a podcast which will be going out on a Sunday morning. So when you're literally going to bed in Australia, lovely, you can listen to us. Or if you're in the UK or in America, whatever, you can wake up to it, which will be pretty awesome. So the reason why we're doing this is because I hate crypto podcasts. I think they're boring. So please do check out our website, cryptomobcast.co.uk. And yeah, check out the socials as well. Same hashtag and stuff, Crypto Mobcast. But first, I want to ask a question to Andy because I've really wanted to know this.
Oh,
Would you rather use eye drops made of vinegar or toilet paper made from sandpaper?
Oh, it's a tough one, that. I think I'm going to go for sandpaper. I won't mind seeing stuff in future, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, not a chance I'm putting out in my eyes, so
At least you'll be clean.
The bum crack's going to take the stick on this one, I think.
I think you'll be cleaner.
Yeah, it'll literally be clean to the point of being raw, so...
Yeah, you might not be able to shit again.
I know, but at least I'll be able to see.
Yeah, it's true. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyways, everyone who's here, hello. This is obviously new. We need to get on iTunes and stuff. So in the next few weeks, you'll probably see us on your favourite platform. We're not going to be that serious. We are in some ways, but you will learn stuff. You will hear stuff. But it's probably not going to be child-friendly. So I suggest you put them in the bin for now or to bed or whatever. Personally, I swear a lot. Military backgrounds for both of us. Andy's still serving. And in terms of cryptocurrency, as I say, it's a bit geeky. Most podcasts that we hear or listen to is like a revolving door. Every single time I watch a podcast or listen to one or whatever, it's crazy because the same guests keep appearing. It's the same stories over and over again. We're not going to do interviews because that's fucking boring.
Yep.
We're not going to talk the absolute technical side of a blockchain because no one really wants to crash the car whilst listening to that because they will fall asleep. So we will talk about cool stuff, but I'm going to let Andy give us some news and then we'll crack on from there, I think, and then we'll just see where this rolls. And yeah, let's have fun.
Yeah, first thing I'm going to talk about is you've done a YouTube video, I think it was yesterday or possibly the day before, about the stable coins. Let me just bring the link up here.
The great mess of 2020 continues.
Yeah, I mean, if everything's falling and then we're going to get rid of... If central banks are going to get rid of stable coins, that's just going to cause a huge mess.
It's going to cause a huge pump as well, because where are people going to put their Bitcoin or their money, their equity, whatever, into Bitcoin?
I mean, what would happen instantly? Would everything... You'd have to trade everything against Bitcoin initially, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah, because it's the dominant pair. The thing is, right now, it's Tether. Tether is the highest liquidity coin, essentially. Highest volume, it's the highest hedge. But it's funny because you see in all these exchanges like Bybit and what's the other ones? Obviously, Binance, etc. They've all got US Tether pairs now as a new function. So that's going to cock up their system. But I don't think prohibition will happen. I don't think they'll ban it completely. I think they'll just regulate the shit out of it so it's like unusable.
They need to regulate it from the amount that people are printing off. I mean, if you look onto the whale alerts, and every day you see multi-million pounds of Tether just getting printed. It's like, come on. What are you trying to do?
Yeah. That's the problem, and as much as we're hypocritical of the world of cryptocurrency, oh, it's amazing, we're actually doing the same thing, as in the same as what the Federal Reserve are doing right now, where they're pumping cash into the economy. We do the exact same thing with Tether, and it's like, well, what's going to happen next? Well, back in the day, it used to be always pumped, but now all these platforms support shorting. It's just execution of that founding thing of, well, I can actually print this to short the shit out of it and wreck people. And that's what seems to be the problem at the minute, is where we don't know what way the direction's actually going, which is kind of key.
Yeah, definitely. Right, what else do you want to speak about? So, Link. You've done a Link, you've done a few Link videos, haven't you, recently?
Chainlink's all right. The only problem with Chainlink is I don't know where it's going to go. The
Well,
problem with altcoins is they're all pretty shocking right now. When you look at the market, obviously Bitcoin 7K, it's very bearish, but the dominance of Bitcoin's steady. The altcoin market cap is kind of in the middle and kind of just settled. But we keep seeing random pumps of coins, and Chainlink's been the coin that's been the most successful over the last 9 months. However, it's still not broken any record. It's still not flew to the moon yet. It's still not like, yeah, it's gone up loads. It's hit all-time high, but a lot of people are comparing that to Ethereum in terms of will Chainlink be the leader next year or this year and do an ETH like pump? But I don't think it's got the minerals yet. I think overall, I think we've got to wait for obviously the halving. We've got to wait for the bearish market to kind of vanish for the altcoins because it still is bearish. If you look at any altcoin and you just zoom out on the weekly time frame, it still looks absolutely disgusting. It still looks like death. And I don't think adoption's there yet. I think with COVID-19, with all the kind of all that horrible stuff, like people are not going to be focusing on what matters in the crypto market. They're going to be focusing on their own lives and their own shit, which would bring me back to your toilet paper or sandpaper. But that's what it will feel like to some people because like they're losing so much money in the alt market because they're just held on or they're buying at stupid levels. But the fundamentals and the use case of Chainlink is actually really quite good. It's neat. However, it could be affected by the stablecoin issue that could be coming out in October 2020 if there's no stablecoins, because then that will interrupt their APIs for sending payments. How on earth are we going to have a bridge between without a stablecoin, which would also interlink with the likes of XRP and all kinds of other shit of having a currency? Cryptocurrency in reality needs something stable. If that's taken away, a lot of use case coins are fucked, basically. No way of putting it. So it's going to be an interesting few, well, definitely an interesting few months. We've got till July to see what the comments are on it, on that report. Obviously, that kind of links in with Link and how it will kind of work with payment gateways and shit. But in terms of that, we've got to wait until the end of the year. But it's not ideal, definitely not ideal.
So what I found quite interesting last week, I think it was last Monday, we reported that the trading volume, which surpassed both XRP and Ethereum for Link, I mean that's a big thing for Link. Getting more volume per day per Ethereum and XP, that's just the number 2 and 3, aren't they?
Yeah, and you've got to remember, Ethereum's an established app with a lot of applications on it, even though it's like it gets crippled with its crypto kitties and that, but XRP is the most common used, movement of money. It's like it's quick, it's easy, it's cheap. It's the one I tend to use more than anything. But you are seeing a lot of Bitcoin transactions at the minute very, very cheap due to the hash rate being, a little bit down compared to normal, and obviously with the miners potentially selling, looking more likely that they are selling with the money going around. But the fundamentals of cryptocurrency is to send money quick, cheap, and easy or whatever. But when you see Link flying and mooning, and that's a thing, like it's one of those ones where there's a lot of volume, but it hasn't really took off yet in terms of actual adoption. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I always say that overall we're very early to the phase. The phase of this market is baby phase. We're like not even got our bloody nappy on yet. It's tiny. And when you compare that to the stock market, forex market, etc., it's like it's quite exciting, but it's also kind of like, will we make it? Will it actually happen? Will it survive? Will we get, adoption? It's not so much price. A lot of people look at price and they think, oh, it's doing well. It's never always about price. Usually, like you see top stocks, they're not the richest or the best stock in the world for price action or just the amount they've made or growing. It's what they actually are and what they do on a consistent basis. If they're consistent and they're stable, people will invest, and over time it'll gradually just build. But in terms of news, like there's quite a lot of news at the minute, all related to the fact of what's happening in the world of COVID-19. But a lot of people are forgetting that great developments in altcoins are actually happening. Like all these coins, like there's loads of them at the minute that are doing brilliant things, but they're just totally just like, I don't want to write about that because it's not going to get us a hits. It's not going to get the traffic like Coin Telegraph and CoinDesk and etc. they just kind of like slap off the basic stuff and like the good stuff realistically, and they just focus on death and doom and like people doing stupid shit in the back garden, really.
Yep. Crazy.
That's the only problem with it. This market is a bit random. Anyways, let's talk about the introduction, i.e., the main topic of this podcast: how and when and what and all kinds of good stuff of getting involved in cryptocurrency. Like, this is going to be a bit of a weird episode because it's the first one. We need to get used to it. We need to obviously introduce who we are, how it all came together for us, and why we're kind of here. So, Andy, I'll let you just blabber on, as in, how long have you been in the industry, all kinds of good stuff, what you like about the industry, bit of experience, whatever. And yeah, I might ask you a few more questions just to throw you off, just for a laugh, because why not?
Why not? So, about mid-2017, I first got into crypto. Prior to that, I was trading stocks, oils, all the good stuff that you start off with when you want to learn how to trade. I'm not sure exactly how I come across crypto, but I remember my first buy, and I was looking to buy XRP, and that little bit of time when it was flying from zero to hero. I can't remember even how I found out about it, but I ended up going onto a website called Crypto, mate, and it is probably the dodgiest thing I've ever done. I went on, it said buy XRP here, went on, and what I had to do, I had to submit how much I want. So I think I started off with 50 quid. Put this amount in, and then the screen was just circling and circling, and it said waiting for a vendor. 5 or 6 minutes later, I found a vendor, and it just said send your bank details to this person. So I sent some cash over, and randomly in this wallet that I set up, I got some XRP, and that was my first buy.
Wow.
What a bit of a random crazy. And I looked actually today, Crypto Mate's still working, and you can still buy crypto in that same way. So it's a bit like an OTC thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like peer-to-peer. It's just like the old school way, like local bitcoins. But it just shows you how much the industry's actually
Evolved.
progressed. Sometimes it progressed. Sometimes I think it's gone backwards. But fucking hell, XRP is the first buy. That was the one buy that I totally missed the boat on when I got involved. I just went, nah, I don't want that. Why do I want that? Whoops.
I'm quite lucky. Yeah. I think it's hovering about on similar prices as it is now back in 2017, because I got in at about 17 cents and then watched it go all the way up to $3. Sold. I didn't sell at the top. Probably sold the stock around $2 and then kept the rest as a moon bag, thinking to go in to space, and then it went to the grave, didn't it?
Died.
Yeah.
Died with everything else. But in terms of that, like, I was looking at XRP. Oh God. I looked at it and I went, oh, I don't get it. I don't see the point of it. I don't see the use case. This was before like XRapid and stuff, and this was like XRapid came out like a year, about 9 months after the bull run. So this coin went from fucking dust to a pyramid in a matter of a fucking 3-month cycle. It's crazy, realistically, when you think about it. Like, going back, looking at that, thinking, what the fuck? Like, how is that even possible? But now I'm looking at it and I hold it. I'm a believer of XRP because I feel that as a payment system, as a process, as a bridge, whatever you want to describe it as, it's more risky not being in it than not investing, if that makes sense. Like, I would rather invest in that than invest in something else. That's just my belief, and people will be like, you're a shitbag, you don't care. Ultimately, though, I think like it will go back up to those levels, even if it goes to like $2. I think like if you're investing in XRP at like anything below 20 cents, I think you've got easily a 10x gain on your hands, in my opinion. That's not financial advice. Don't just like buy XRP online saying. And I wouldn't recommend crypto, mate. It sounds dodgy as.
Never buy on crypto, mate. If I log onto my banking now, I think I've still got that dude's details there.
Probably come up fraud, scam artist. But yeah, crack on with your story. What else have you got other than your first dodgy buy to some drug dealer in Doncaster or something? I don't know.
So after that, I found out what Discord and Telegram were. Ended up buying my second coin, which was Mint Coin, and to this day, it's still active. It's I don't think the community is what it used to be, but I ended up working for them. I ended up being a community manager. I think I must have worked there for about 6 months, learning pretty much everything about crypto, and then also learning how much of a pump and dump there is in all these coins. So that one of one, that one of a wrecked moment.
Find out all the scammers and where they all live and circulate, and market makers that are dodgy.
The amount of groups and coins that are pumped and dumped it must be 90% of the market. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, easily. And the market makers are all in together with each other, making the money and just doing whatever the hell they want. Really, like it's because they can. I mean, you look at some of the coins on the depth of coin market cap, essentially, like Mint Coin, like Buzz Coin, and Jesus, the random ones like
HTML coin that got a load of pump and dumps as well, didn't it?
Oh god, there's loads of them. And there's a one that's always on. There's one on Binance that always moons. What is it? I've forgotten what it's called now.
Not Dodge, is it?
Dodge. No, it starts with a D though. Bollocks, I've forgotten what it's called now. It's not Duck.
Duck coin, that's a new one.
There's all kinds. I can't remember what it's called now. It's gone out of my head. I'm not even going to bother looking for it because I can't be bothered. That's how much I care. I don't. But yeah, there's like so many that just do, and it makes me laugh because when you're in the Facebook groups and you're just looking at like people getting really excited over one green candle, and they're like, I'm not going to tell you that that's going to come down. Anything that's 80% up, boys and girls, is going to come down. It's going to hit you hard. And they still buy it. They still go, I'm going to buy this. It's amazing. It's going to go to the moon. Chances are they're like 40% down the next day.
Yep. That's how I started off. That was me. Right at the beginning of the days, buying something. Right, it's going to the moon. Next day, crying.
It's happened to me too.
We've all been there, haven't we?
Good old Bittrex days. So, from that story, where are you going from Mint Coin?
Mint Coin? I think I just hung about trying to learn how to trade. I did get myself into another project, which I'm not going to name because I fucking hate the project now, but I ended up doing the same job for them, community manager. I spent probably about 18 months with them.
Bloody Nora.
I know, a long time. But that is where, even though I'm not going to mention the name, that is where I learned pretty much the bulk of all the crypto that I know now. I learned about blockchains, I learned about masternodes, I learned about proof of stake systems. I pretty much learned everything there is to do with cryptocurrency and the technology. So although I'm a bit fucked off that I worked from, I learned a lot from it. So it was good and bad, bittersweet.
Yeah, and now where are you? Literally here, stuck on a podcast with me, which is great.
Yeah, so time's moved on to now.
How cycles go.
How about yourself? How did you get? How did you start? And how long have you been in and around crypto now?
Well, it all started with, funny enough, football.
All right.
So I've always been a bit of a geek, and not so much a geek, but like I like to keep busy. So I made a football website in 2012. I did really well. It trended on Twitter. It had like 1 million views. It was crazy how big it got. And then the wheels fell off when I joined the RAF. I'll come on to that in a minute. But I was circulating the forums on how to grow and stuff like that, and discovered Bitcoin. I was like, oh, cool. That looks interesting. What do we do with that? Yeah, kill your granny with it. Okay, right. I'll leave that alone for now. Came back to it later on, and I started to get into trading when I was in the RAF, and that started with Football Index, if you've heard of it, where you trade in like players on the news and shit.
Yeah,
then I got into penny stocks. It's pretty decent. I made a decent chunk of money on it. Not much, but like I put 150 quid in and came out with like 700 quid, and then Then I started doing deployments and shit, and I kind of sacked it all off. But I learned penny stocks first more than anything. Like not even realistically trading them, just like investing and like learning how to research and shit. And that was in 2005, 15. Sorry, fucking 2005, 2015. So with that, I then stumbled upon when I was bored in Australia whilst working. I was literally bored, which is crazy because we had nothing to do. I stumbled upon cryptocurrency again, and I found, well, this is pretty cool. It's developed a bit. This was in 2016, about was it September, October time, 2016, and I made my first transaction whilst in Australia. However, it didn't go through because it thought it was a fraudulent activity. So I
Right.
had to phone the bank in Australia, which cost me about 14 quid, I think, at the time. It was fucking expensive to get my card unblocked because then I couldn't eat or do anything. So that was fun. Got back and then I bought some. I can't remember how much I bought now. It was about 350 quid's worth. And back then it was about $800 per Bitcoin. So it's pretty good. Um, and then in January, February, March, I started adding to it. And then in June time, 2017, I doubled down and just jumped in at a decent. Bitcoin was at $4,000 then, but it retraced down to 2,000, and I put a chunk in again.
Is that the time when you sold your car?
No, that I'll come on to that in a minute. So that was when I was in the RAF, and that was when me and Michelle were just buying this house that I'm in now. And then fast forward through there, I just held Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Right, so I bought Bitcoin early, mid 2016, end of, and then I started buying the likes of Ethereum and Litecoin and started to just kind of accumulate those whilst I was learning. So I was learning about altcoins, learning about blockchains, learning how to invest and trade properly because it's a totally different industry compared to like the penny stocks and stuff. The main things that I learned originally was stock market, institutional sort of trading, so how certain moving averages react and how trends are formed. And that's what the basis of my trading is still today in terms of Fibonacci, psychological levels, certain moving averages, boring stuff, right? And with that in mind, it kind of was like, it makes sense buying now because we're above the certain moving average, it's looking good, it's forming a trend. I didn't expect what would happen in 2017 to happen. I don't think anyone did. It was freaking crazy. So that was the start of my journey. I then bought my first altcoin off Coinbase because I bought on Coinbase because I was sensible. I didn't use CoinMate or CryptoMate or whatever you use.
Good.
And even,
I wish I knew about that back then.
I mean, it's just a random thing, and I just, as you do, you learn, you find, you make mistakes, you overcome them, and I bought ant shares on, was it? It might have been Bittrex or Poloniex. I can't remember now. Um, and that was my first altcoin off that exchange, and that was when I had to like really thinking, fuck, this is totally chalk and cheese. This is weird. This is different. What's a limit order market? It was all different terminology because when you're in the stock market, they don't have limit orders because there's no such thing, and you're like, oh, what's this? So I was figuring it out, and I bought ant shares at $5, give or take $5. And it rebranded to Neo, then the rest is history. But I sold too early. I sold about $38, which is a huge gain still, but it obviously went to 200. And then I just compounded it up. And I remember the best thing about all this was my job at the time was like amazing. Like in terms of what I used to do, I used to travel around the world protecting aircraft, and it allowed me to have time to learn. And throughout the end of 2016 to early 2017, I was like in and out of the air, listening to books, reading books, and just learning shit about this random knowledge that you're getting now of this podcast, basically. Or you are then.
I was just going to say that's one of the best things about, like, I'm in the military. You've been in the military. You do get a lot of downtime, and crypto just ties in so well with being in the military.
Yeah, it does.
You've got all that free time. If you're not on tour, you're not deployed. I mean, you've got loads to do.
That's what I mean. Like, what my job role was, if anyone is interested, I was in the police, and whenever the RAF used to go out of area, we used to go with them. So you imagine a big C-17 aircraft or a Herc or whatever in a base in an unknown country, whether that's in Africa, whether it's in America, whether it's Australia, wherever. You've got to have some sort of security just in case they cannot cover it. About, oh Christ, 7 out of 10 times, the chances are we went to the hotel, got absolutely pissed, right? Yeah, it's the thing. But
That's what
most of the
happens in the
time,
military. You get arseholed everywhere you go. No matter what you're doing, you're getting arseholed.
you do, but the problem is you get a lot of downtime as well. So if you're on guard or stag or whatever, you're literally just thinking, right, what can I do? It's fucking 40 degrees, my bollocks are melting, I'll listen to an ebook. But that's the sort of thing that would happen to me, and I'd just read shit and learn. And like, even when you're traveling in the air, like some of the flights are really long, even traveling to and from the airports and stuff and Bryce, etc. Crazy. So I had so much time to just digest all this information. Then I started going public about it, going, oh, this is pretty cool. I love this. I'm making shit ton of money. And then I decided to build a course because obviously people wanted to learn, and obviously people then did the courses. And yeah, here I am today. How many million people? I'm joking. Thousands of people like done courses and stuff. But in terms of my job, it allowed me that freedom to kind of just crack on and learn and just not get bothered. And I didn't have to talk about it to any one of my colleagues because they didn't give a shit. They didn't understand it. They didn't really care until the prices got really high, and then you got that FOMO mentality. What, you invested Bitcoin? What? That's amazing. How did you do that? This was when it was like $14,000, and when we're like, mate, this is like really high. I wouldn't invest buying it. And even still, that mentality is there. Even when we went to 13,000 a couple of months back, or I wouldn't. When was it? Summertime.
Yeah,
It was like last summer, 9 months ago. We were like 13,000. I had friends coming up to me going, "Oh, Bitcoin, it's doing well again, isn't it? Should I buy some?" No, why not? Because it's freaking on the moon right now. It's crazy how it was $3,000 and then it's 13, which brings me onto my car, by the way. So I left the RAF, really, really fortunate position where I turned like my overall investment, I think was £2,200 I put in the crypto market from fiat in like random transactions. And I came out with 6 figures at the other end, right? I didn't make 6 figures in total sum. I seen it, wake up the next day, it fucking vanished because the market crashed. But, I took a lot of money out, and whatever I'm playing with now is 100% profit. I have no issues, no qualms with saying that, markets do move very, very quickly. But the thing what I did was when I left the RAF was obviously I had a house, bought the house, got a dog, which is amazing. You'll probably meet the dog at some point, visually and audible, whatever. She's already been on my YouTube videos. She likes to come into my room and just like kick off a little bit or jump on my head.
I've seen her recently on you. I think she was like
She
2
jumps in.
days ago. Yeah, special
Jumps in, says hello, and fucks off. But yeah, so I sold my car in November 2018. I got about $3,500 for it, and I put $2,500 into crypto at $4,400. We obviously went up to 13K from that point, so I literally nearly, almost, not perfectly, nearly got the amount that I paid for my car 4 years prior, which is quite cool. So that managed to cheer me up a little bit in terms of the bear market of like, oh, this is really crap. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a bit of Bitcoin and just like sell it at the other end, and I did. And I plan to do that again this year in terms of if we get a pre-halving or post-halving dump, put 4 or 5 grand in the market, and then if we go bullish, I'm going to take it out and I can just crack on and enjoy myself and buy myself a load of Easter eggs on offer again, like I did the other night. So that's really still my story. I have been in a team which didn't work out. That was horrible. But in terms of me, it's kind of like I'm getting there in terms of teaching everyone. It's just the content. I want to deliver as much content as I can. Obviously, with my YouTube, with this, there'll be some great knowledge bombs on here. But the world of cryptocurrency doesn't sleep, and I think people forget that. There's a lot of people come to me and go, I want to buy this coin. I don't want to do anything. I want to sit on my ass. I want to see it go to the moon. I just want to sit and hold. Well, mate, I'll tell you this for free. This is not an industry where you just basically sit and wait, because prices go up. We had an ex-member, I'm not going to mention his name, he was a massive believer in Matic, and he bought really low. He vanished because it went lower, and it mooned. It went up about 4x in a matter of like 2 weeks. I don't know if you remember that massive pump that it had, and it dumped massively.
Did he sell it
And
when it went lower?
yeah, but he missed the pump because he was like, he just
Right.
didn't give a shit. And like, when you get people like that, their attitude does my head in, because like, oh, I just want to buy and hold forever. Well, if you have an opportunity where a coin does a 4 or 5x gain in a matter of like 2 weeks, you're probably going to be thinking, I should really sell this because that's a bit of a good opportunity. No other market is going to give you that amount of, gains realistically. Like, not, well, obviously the stock market is a bit broken right now, but in realistic terms, in 2 weeks, if someone says, right, give me £1,000, mate, I'll give you 5,000 in 2 weeks, you'll go, all right then. But people don't quite, think of that when.
I think one of the main things to do with that is people hear that cryptocurrencies is flying, say like XRP, oh, it's gone up 5,000%, blah blah blah. People get into it without any prior knowledge of trading, and I think
Agreed.
that's one of the major problems. So they're coming in, they see it flying, and they think, all right, it's not going to stop. Let's just keep holding. They look at it day after, not having a stop loss in place, and it's on its ass, and they've not actually got any idea how to trade it. Nobody's taking profits.
Yeah. It's not even the trading element. It's just simple investing. It's simple buy low, sell high. It's that mentality that people want to buy into a coin when it's doing well. They don't want to buy it when it's on its ass, but they don't look hard enough to find the fundamentals of what is happening outside the price. And that's what I said at the start. It's always what people think is a price. It's not always a price. It's what the developments are. The price will soon follow if it's good over time, with adoption, with all kinds of good stuff. But I find it all the time where people will like come to me or they'll message me, and that's why I don't share much on socials these days, because I get sick of it. People will come up to me and go, "Oh, I really like your post about Ethereum and that call. How did you do it? Well, here's how I did it. This is my breakdown." And they're just like, "Well, I'm not bothered because I've got to do that. Can you trade for me?" Oh, fuck my life.
Yeah.
Stuff like that happens, but it's investing that's a worse one. It's when like I could put a post up like 6 months ago, and I'd be like, right, VeChain looks amazing, let's buy it. In 6 months' time, if that's successful, I'll be like, anyone buy VeChain? And people are like, I'm buying VeChain, buy VeChain, buy VeChain. Why didn't you buy it when I said it was like that? And that happened all the time in 2017 when I was like recommending coins that were doing really well due to the hype marketing and stuff like that. And the market, people were coming to like the shores in January when it was about to really crash. And it's just an investment mindset. But most people that have invested in crypto have never, ever invested in any asset in their lifetime.
Yep.
That's the bottom line, and they don't understand the concept of buying low, selling high, or market research, or the fundamental element of that, or even the simple lines of putting 2 or 3 EMAs on your chart to see the trend direction on the higher time frame to know, is it going up or is it going to go down? When you know that, it becomes a lot more simple. But people want the easy option. They want to just go, right, Ash, can you tell me what the 3 best coins of 2020 is, please?
Yep.
Fuck off. No.
Yeah, and also, can you trade it for me and give me a profit once you've done it?
And can you also recommend me what ledger to buy? Why should I buy it? Give us do a video for me to figure out how it works. But no, I mean, mate, are you going to buy a Hoover next week? Because you know what I might do? I might recommend a Hoover for you because I've used the Hoover at home. I like it, and I might just share it on socials. Honestly, rational thinking doesn't come into people's minds when it comes to crypto. People do not go on Google, and they do not go and say, right, hardware wallets. I will Google that, and I'll find out all the information I need before I buy it. Any normal person in any household item would do that, like I do. Like if I'm buying something, normal, like say if you're buying a car, or if you're buying a Hoover, or I'm only thinking about stuff that I'm thinking of because it's right in front of me. You do your research, don't you?
Yeah, you always do your research. That's key. That is key.
Well, yeah, I'm trying not to have a go at everyone, but this is just kind of my pain points of like the industry, and it's an introduction into what this podcast could be about in terms of like just brutally just annihilating the industry realistically, because there's parts that are amazing and there's parts that are pretty naff, which is kind of an interesting point. In terms of introductions, though, as well, the one thing that I do recommend for everyone who's listening is if you understand the basics of, just trend direction, you can win, and I mean this, you can win on any industry if you understand, like, especially as an investor. Like, this is how investors make money. They buy it when it's about to go into an uptrend, or they sell it when it goes into a downtrend. You just got to look outwards. Like, too many people as well, another criticism of mine, too many people put posts on social media or Twitter or whatever, and they try and look good, but they're only looking at the 15-minute time frame and the 5-minute time frame. So, oh, look, it's coming down.
Yep.
In reality, if you go to the daily time frame, it's just like the tiniest little bollock hanging out of your trousers, which has made a bit of an appearance. It doesn't mean anything realistically. And if you're an investor and you go onto those higher time frames, like, you can look on the stock market and you can use the Hitman, for example. You can use an EMA, you can use the RSI, the MACD. You can find, if you've got enough patience, you can find where the entry points are of an investment. And if someone says to you, right, Ethereum's $100, would you buy it or would you not? I recommend, if people didn't understand what Ethereum was, or if they knew what the price all-time high of Ethereum was, and that's all they knew, they didn't know anything else, they'll probably say, no, I'm not going to buy this. Whereas with me and you and most people that know me would be like, that's a screaming buy, I'm going to buy that, I don't care. Like, you set a stop loss, or you just cut your losses if it goes a bit wrong, or you accumulate more. Simple as that. And if there's an opportunity where a coin or an asset can go back up even a quarter of the way to all-time high based on fundamentals, developments, key points, scalability issues, whatever solved, it's a win-win. And that's where the risk comes in. And people don't want to take the risk, but they'll take the risk when it's like at the top of the wave, and they'll just get smashed, which is fun. That's fun to watch, anyways.
Yeah, that's the problem, though, isn't it? People only realise what it is when it's pumping.
Yep.
That's inevitably what brings everybody in. It's what brought us in 2017. It brought me to it. I wouldn't have knew about XRP if it wasn't pumping, and that brought me in.
Well, that's the thing. Like, a lot of the things that pumped with me with market research was I understood what was happening in terms of the market. I was already in the market, but what caught me out was the speed of what went mental. And no amount of research would have prepared you for that. You could have bought the best coin, fundamentals, and the shittest of shit in the pile would have pumped alongside it, which was scary. And people were making money off anything. And I learned a lot in 2017. It's like, in terms of a year, I learned so much in terms of buying. But 2018, I learned even more. That's when we developed Learning Crypto, and it all came out. And it was like, we came out in the worst week in cryptocurrency, which is great.
I bet you did.
The lowest, like 3,100. Oh, shit. I know what we'll do. We'll release our platform. And yeah, crack on, boys and girls. So we did that, and that was fine. We're still here today. It was lovely. But the fundamentals of investing is quite funny when you kind of just draw it up and put it on a board, because people don't want it. When the crunch comes, they don't want to do it. And I often get comments on my videos like, why are you recommending buying this when it's that low? Why not buy it now? Well, I want a better order in, to be honest with you. And I believe it's going to go there and it's going to turn around at some point. It's still decent. It's not shit. It's not the team haven't massacred themselves in the boardroom yet. It's always good. So you can't really grumble too much if it's low. If you've only got one BTC to spend, which could be quite fun, what would you do with it? Well, you'd wait for the best possible entry. You're not just going to go and spunk it all on one order at the top, are you? No, you're not.
No, you work.
Oh, man.
And
frustrations. But yeah, in terms of that, though, the market is awesome. It doesn't sleep. It is pretty awesome. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of things coming out in the news.
I'll tell you what's not quite so awesome. When I opened up an F short about 2 days ago, quite lucky that I moved my stop loss into the profit, but then woke up about 2 hours later after a bit of a night shift, and it had jumped up $40. What the fuck is going on there? That wasn't good. But it's consolidated a bit since. So
I woke up because I did a short call in premiums. All right, boys and girls, this is looking bearish. Bitcoin wicked down to 6.4, and I woke up at like 7 a.m. or whatever it was. Went for a shower, looked at my phone. I was like, oh, hello, we've jumped a little bit here, and then it just freaking skyrocketed, and then I found out that the BitMEX funding rate has swapped from short to long, which is always a good manipulation spike, because you're going to get paid for your long entries. But yeah, and then I looked at Twitter and everyone was like, yeah, we're bullish, boys and girls. Halving's here, we're bullish. We haven't even formed a higher high yet. Keep your pants on. So that made me laugh. And then we're still here. We still haven't made a higher high. We're still pretty looking bearish overall. But I always say when I teach people, like, always set a take profit in crypto. Like, even if it's like half of your position or at least minimum, put a stop loss into profit just to protect yourself, because I've been there quite a lot where you get too cocky and you're like, right, I'm up 10%, I'm just going to go and take a drink of my coffee, and then you literally, your lips hit the surface and then all of a sudden, bang, what the, things just move or do something stupid.
and that's spiking up towards liquidation prices. If you're getting it around 155, and even
it's crazy.
even a 10x, you'd probably got liquidated on that.
Oh yeah, you would have. If you got a shit entry, you would have definitely got liquidated because it went up. I think it went up 18%, which is quite high. In, you would have got liquidated basically on a 10x of that. Yeah. But the fundamentals of like leverage trading, we'll probably have a full bloody podcast on leverage trading. Like, people just don't know how to manage risk, or if they do, they just get like, oh, it'll be all right. I'm a very cautious trader. I don't trade often, and when I do trade, I'm usually pretty good. But the fundamentals of me, it's all about risk management and money management. And this Monday, I made a good chunk of money. I was like, yes, awesome. I've not been in a position since because the market's been a bit weird. And that pump kind of showed it. And I do think bearish is coming. I think like I'm still in my Tether position in terms of my trading account. But, if anyone's going to take anything from this podcast and you are looking at trading crypto, always set your levels, set your escape routes, because random pumps happen, but also the dumps happen in your favor. So like that call there, if you were riding from 7K, which most people were, we went all the way down to 6.4, and then we went right the way up to 7.3 in a matter of 2 candles. So you could have got your profits in and rounded up and signed, sealed, and delivered. But if you didn't set one down there, you're not made anything. If you didn't have your stop loss in profit, you would have lost because it would have hit. And that is all in the space of like literally a 4-hour period, which is quite scary. And that's why a lot of Forex traders are scared shitless of this market, even though, in my opinion, Forex market is a harder market to trade. Forex market, marketers and like traders don't recommend it because of the massive percentages, where it's a weird one. Like, Forex is huge leverage, whereas cryptocurrency is like huge percentages of wins and losses. It's crazy when you don't need the leverage. Technically, you don't need leverage to trade crypto, in my opinion. But people do it 100x. Oh, we'll sell at resistance. Yeah. We'll buy at support. We'll just do it all the time. We'll make loads of money. We'll start using Fibonacci now.
Just think how much time that takes if you're just staring at that 15-minute timeline all day, trying to buy resistance, sell it. Bloody
boring, mate.
God almighty. It'd kill you off.
Absolutely fucking boring.
Yeah.
I've never met a trader who likes to sit at a computer all day and watch a screen of candles.
Yeah.
Like, the way I trade, and we'll probably do a detailed version of this in some future episode, like, I love to be able to just wait for an entry to hit my orders, and if it goes wrong, I don't care, because I've dollar cost averaged in, and if my stop loss hits and it carries on going through the wall, I don't care. It doesn't affect me any shape or it doesn't. And like, a lot of people get upset when they lose trades, but they over leverage or they do the amount of money they put on a trade, and it's all percentages, it's all a game, it's all consistency, maths and numbers. And like, now I'm back into trading properly, and I've been for the last 2 months. So I'm getting really into it, and I'm making some great decisions, but ultimately I'm kind of more skeptical in the way that I look at trades. I don't just go on every single trade. And when you are looking at the screen every 10 seconds and you are then in that mindset, I must find a trade, I must trade today. I've not done a trade today. I must do a trade. You start chomping at shit and then you start picking up crap and you will lose. And fundamentals of that is, well, you're going to have a really bad win ratio. And if I could do one trade a week and win, I'd be more than happy. I don't see why you should rush a process, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about processes and all that kind of stuff in terms of waiting, but like I see way too many people, even as investors, they'll just like, oh, it's gone up by 20%. I'm just going to buy now. They'll just do that. They'll just FOMO into it. And it's the same with trading mentality.
Yeah. When I first started into crypto, and I've always been a hodler, really. I've never been a major trader, but I just wanted to buy and hold it and take profits out when I can. But
I'm a hodler, to be fair.
yeah, I mean, I have got my moon bags, which I'm going to hold, and I'm going to hold them for as long as I can until they make me money that I want. But with trading, I mean, I like to do it like you, either daily or weekly, and it's just going to take too much time up if you just stay, like I said, stay on the computer all day long. It just ruins you, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, someone messaged me last week saying, well, why are you the enemy of Bitcoin? Why do you always short it? I was like, well, I'm only shorting my trading account. That's all. I'm not putting my ledger on the line here. As I keep saying to you, I always hold a winning bag just in case. My external stuff is there. It's happy. It's sitting there. All I do is accumulate it. Now, over the last few months, I've been accumulating little bits and pieces, doing little bits in terms of the lows of the markets, and then I'm gradually just converting into Bitcoin and then putting it onto my ledger. But my Bybit account now, it started from 0.2, it's now 0.24. I'm going to grow that, and I'm going to show social proof of that, growing it over time. And then when I hit a withdrawal, I'll just put it onto my ledger. Happy days. It's an investment. It's long term. If, however, my investments then go to the moon and like Bitcoin becomes 20K, I'll probably take a decent chunk out of it into fiat, get it taxed, and buy a McLaren. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? The one's on Amazon, the one that the dog can drive, not me, because I'll probably crash it. Or someone will nick my wheels. So, yeah, that's kind of my plan. But, a lot of people do it the other way around.
That'll be a good upgrade from your Honda Jazz, that.
Aye, everyone thinks I've got a Honda Jazz, but I definitely do not. I wouldn't be able to fit in it, to be fair.
No.
But yeah, like with me, thinking about it, like I just don't see the point of like I see too many people. Right, this is another criticism. I see too many people putting their shit on an exchange just to trade it on a whim, and like, oh, Bitcoin's low, I'm going to sell it onto Tether. Like these are people that sell it at 4K when it done from 6K or whatever it was. Like you're selling at the bottom here. Just trade the fucking thing. Just put a little bit on your exchange and just learn how it works and just keep it. Because it's only fiat value. You're not losing Bitcoin when it dumps. You are just losing the fiat, and it's that mindset control. And this is a sort of thing that you'll learn over time. If you're new to the industry, you'll learn how to then get a strong stomach, and then you won't be like shitting yourself on every dump. And I see it all the time on like Twitter, Facebook groups that people like get really upset when it dumps, and Bitcoin has some big dumps. Like if you want to season yourself as an investor, Bitcoin and Ethereum, XRP, if you've never witnessed a 20% drop in one day, then you've not quite hit the levels yet. You will get there at some point. You will get that sticker, because it's frightening. It is quite frightening. And I've seen so many people lose 6 figures in one day. And it's like, oh my God. But it does bounce back up though eventually. Over time.
Only for people who bought Bitcoin at 20K still thinking that now. Do you reckon there's many of them left?
Can't be. Surely not. I mean, I know a few of them, but like in my eyes, I would have just bought a load more at 3K.
Yeah, leverage.
That's just my thought process. That's why I put my money from a car onto it. That's why I did it, because I thought, oh, hold on a minute, we've been at 20K, it's 3K, calculated risk. Okay, let's go for it. Because realistically, I didn't need the money. I just didn't want a second car. I just didn't see the point of having 2 cars. And that now means I've got no cash, so I can buy whatever I want. Great questioning. Um, so yeah, fundamentals of like simple investments is just buy it low. But even though this is randomly off the topic, but the people that bought cryptocurrency when it's 20K, they just literally got it for Christmas as a gift. Like realistically, let's be honest. And when you consider that, they didn't know what they were buying. Because if they knew what they were buying, they would have looked at the price and went, that's high. I don't quite understand it. I'm not going to buy it. And it's just, it happens. And there's no real excuse for it, really, other than just FOMO. It's mental strength, it's emotion that you've probably never experienced before because everyone's bullish. The world is telling you it's going to go to 100K. You can make 4x or 20K. Chances are it's very unlikely. And it obviously proved that. So, yeah, in terms of crypto, it's great fun. Losing your money.
We're all good at doing that.
Yeah. Could be worse, though. At least we've still got an industry.
Yeah, it's still ticking along, isn't it? I mean, it's its third year now of it in a downtrend, so we're only ways up after the next dump.
Yeah. Obviously, you guys, if you're still listening, you're going to hear this on Sunday. I still believe, and my fundamental point of view is the world isn't going to get any better anytime soon. Miners are dumping. Stocks are going to probably correct at some point from this relief rally. Halving's happening, so the miners are going to lose half their income. I do not see Bitcoin pumping. A lot of people are saying it's going to go to 10K. I don't see it. I don't see it right now. I see it after halving. Over time, yes, definitely, 110%. I'm a bull. But short-term feelings are this is quite risky. This is like, well, why? I wouldn't invest now. I would wait. I'd just wait, sit on your hands for 3 weeks. If that means it goes up higher and you miss out a little bit, so be it. But I think there's a bigger drop coming at some point. I think at least we're going to tap towards that 5K region at least. We'll see, though. Who knows? Hopefully lower.
Fingers crossed. Well, I mean, if we do drop, I've got some orders down there, but if we don't, then so be it.
But yeah, I've got Tether on my hardware wallet at the minute. When we close below 6K, I'm going to start moving it onto Binance, and then I'm going to start putting some little seeker orders in, because Binance is an absolute shocking exchange at the minute. In terms of load speed, server issues, and there's sometimes some little death wicks. So you never know. You never know what might get filled. I'm definitely going to put an order in at 3K. Definitely going to put one at 1,800 as well, just in case, not to scare anyone. But there's an obvious level there. But if the miners are going to halve their income and they're going to sell their Bitcoins and the institutions then dump on us, because we are still retail traders, it will get ugly, and a lot of people will then get shaken out of the market, I believe, which will tie into all the news that's coming out now in terms of the stablecoin ban, which is interesting. Then you've got all the other issues in terms of the world, in terms of the relief rally and the S&P 500 getting to certain levels and turning around. Then that will mean a bearish environment for the world of investing, including Bitcoin. Bitcoin has yet to decouple from the stock market. Therefore, the argument of, oh, Bitcoin was only created for financial crashes is rendered useless because we haven't actually proved anything yet. I don't know what your opinion is on that in terms of will we or not decouple, but my view is until we see some gainage from the stock market into crypto, then we're not going to go higher than we feel or we think anyways. Like a lot of people are going, oh, it's going to go to 250,000 by 2022. It's hard to imagine that if we are going to, in the next 2 to 3 years, be in a global depression, global recession, whatever. So I don't know what your opinion is on that in terms of, will Bitcoin become that safe haven?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Like you're saying about people's crazy predictions. Do you see the Kraken CEO recently? He
2 million? I'll have it.
Wait, 2 million or 200 million?
It was 2 million, wasn't it?
God, imagine Bitcoin at 2 million. I mean, I'm not so convinced on the store of value yet. I'm convinced on its use case, but it's just tough, isn't it? We're still down at the bottom, aren't we? We're still right down at the bottom, and it could go further yet. Like you say, they make orders down at 1,800. If it looks like not a chance, but who knows? Who knows?
If Bitcoin is to work, it has to become. If everything goes to shit, and I don't think stablecoins will vanish. I think they'll be regulated. But worst case scenario, if that happens, Bitcoin or another entity in crypto has to be stable for it to work, to be a decent ecosystem to move and use money. In theory, everything is lovely, right? In terms of the use case, in terms of sending money very quickly, fast, easy, etc. It's brilliant. However, we're yet to prove it. We cannot sell an idea that hasn't been proved yet. There's been no case in history that proves that we are useful in a recession yet, because it's not happened. We could see it soon, but we might not. I think it'll take a few recessions for it to happen. I think in the next 10 to 20 years, we'll see a natural store of value over time with higher liquidity, with a higher market cap of the overall market. All the shit coins gone, all the top coins will remain because they've got the solid use cases. Everyone will get bored eventually and they'll vanish. But the people that are really invested in the tech will be here for that alone. They won't be here for the prices. They won't be here for the pump and dump groups. They won't be here for the signals. They'll be here for what could be coming in the future, which is kind of the exciting thing, which is why I got into the industry. I mean, yeah, it's a tradable asset, but stock market traders, they don't trade a stock for the money. They trade a stock for the fundamentals because they know over time it will make them money. And that's what the process needs to be for me, in my opinion anyways. Like trading and investing, the byproduct is a result of money. It's not the what if, it's that I've got the money now because I've executed this, that, and the other. But to see that Bitcoin is sold still off the foundation that, we were made due to the economic downturn of 2008. We are going to be a store of value. We are going to not have this crisis again. Well, sorry, Mr. Salesman. I'm afraid that due to your lovely presentation, we're yet to prove that. And what has been obviously printed is $10 trillion worth of shit that's gone into the economy. It's not had an absolute ounce of difference on what Bitcoin's done. If people were trying to create a model on what Bitcoin could do, in a presentation, you'd highly imagine that if someone said, what if a scenario of $10 trillion goes into the economy to prop it up? What would Bitcoin do? I can bet your bottom dollar, literally, that everyone will go, Bitcoin will be bullish as hell. It'll be like, no, that's never going to happen. We're going to be inflationary. Well, it hasn't happened, has it? It's failed in that way. We've not proved it yet. But I think over time we will. I think over time people will cotton on. They will eventually realize that this is a model that will work over time. But I think we need more scarcity. I think we need more holders, more buyers. And I think trading does help, but I think it also hinders it. That's my view, anyways.
I don't think the volatility helps either, does it? I mean,
no.
Looking at that, somebody will see it jump 20% or so. Not a chance. Not a chance I'm investing in that.
But this brings me to Forex in the way that works. I mean, it doesn't look volatile, Forex, because it only moves in pips and smaller percentages. But over time, as the volatility slows down with Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., the leverage models will change. They'll get higher leverage. And that would mean people can risk more money because the moves will be less. So they can make money off it still. That's what eventually will happen over time. It's just evolution of the market. And we'll probably start seeing the 500x accounts appear. And so they're already here, to be fair. But people aren't really using them. But, when you think about it, 5x leverage is pretty cool when Bitcoin moves 10%. In reality, in stock markets, that doesn't happen, but you're playing with a much higher leverage off a base anyways. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed the introduction. We will be back again next Sunday.